Kids ain't what they used to be. They're not tough, they're not mentally strong, they're not physical, emotionally together, emotionally fit. They're just not like the old school kids. Ain't bad that. These kids are bigger, stronger, faster. They have more resources to understand and comprehend the game. Coaches have changed, not the kids. If you 40 and over, you had a coach that was a dog, man. No nonsense. You get out of line, you don't play. You miss practice, you don't play. You don't finish conditioning, you don't play. He had rules, he had guidelines, he had standards. Now, we got the kids running the side. They running everything. You so scared to lose your job that you play him anyway. You ain't teach him nothing. That's why when he goes off and leaves you, he never comes back. Come back for what? Because you let him get over? Kids ain't changed. Y'all have. Coaches. Y'all have changed. That upsets me. These kids deserve better than this.
Come on, Tommy, you got it. Push, let's go.
And blaze up another thing and keep the motherfucking one in your pocket low. Cause Doggy Dog is all about the zigzag smoke. See, it's a West Coast thing where I'm from. And if you want some, get some. Bad enough, take some. But watch the gun by my side, because it represents me and the motherfucking east side.
Coaches all over the country keep reiterating. You know, kids ain't what they used to be. They're not tough, they're not mentally strong, they're not physical, emotionally together, emotionally fit. They're just not like the old school kids. Ain't bad that. These kids are bigger, stronger, faster. They have more resources to understand and comprehend the game. Coaches have changed, not the kids. If you 40 and over, you had a coach that was a dog, man. No nonsense. You get out of line, you don't play. You miss practice, you don't play. You don't finish conditioning, you don't play. He had rules, he had guidelines, he had standards. Now, we got the kids running the side. They running everything. You so scared to lose your job that you play him anyway. You ain't teach him nothing. That's why when he goes off and leaves you, he never comes back. Come back for what? Because you let him get over? Kids ain't changed. Y'all have. Coaches. Y'all have changed. That upsets me. These kids deserve better than this.
Come on, Tommy, you got it. Push, let's go.
And blaze up another thing and keep the motherfucking one in your pocket low. Cause Doggy Dog is all about the zigzag smoke. See, it's a West Coast thing where I'm from. And if you want some, get some. Bad enough, take some. But watch the gun by my side, because it represents me and the motherfucking east side.
The coaches all over the country keep reiterating. You know, kids ain't what they used to be. They're not tough, they're not mentally strong, they're not physical, emotionally together, emotionally fit. They're just not like the old school kids. Ain't bad that. These kids are bigger, stronger, faster. They have more resources to understand and comprehend the game. Coaches have changed, not the kids. If you 40 and over, you had a coach that was a dog, man. No nonsense. You get out of line, you don't play. You miss practice, you don't play. You don't finish conditioning, you don't play. He had rules, he had guidelines, he had standards. Now, we got the kids running the side. They running everything. You so scared to lose your job that you play him anyway. You ain't teach him nothing. That's why when he goes off and leaves you, he never comes back. Come back for what? Because you let him get over? Kids ain't changed. Y'all have. Coaches. Y'all have changed. That upsets me. These kids deserve better than this.
Come on, Tommy, you got it. Push, let's go.
And blaze up another thing and keep the motherfucking one in your pocket low. Cause Doggy Dog is all about the zigzag smoke. See, it's a West Coast thing where I'm from. And if you want some, get some. Bad enough, take some. But watch the gun by my side, because it represents me and the motherfucking east side.
The coaches all over the country keep reiterating. You know, kids ain't what they used to be. They're not tough. not mentally strong, not physical, emotionally together, emotionally fit. They're just not like the old school kids. I ain't buying that. These kids are bigger, stronger, faster. They have more resources to understand and comprehend the game. Coaches have changed, not the kids. If you 40 and over, you had a coach that was a dog, man. No nonsense. You get out of line, you don't play. You miss practice, you don't play. You don't finish conditioning, you don't play. He had rules, he had guidelines, he had standards. Now, we got the kids running the side. They running everything. You so scared to lose your job that you play him anyway. You ain't teach him nothing. That's why when he goes off and leaves you, he never comes back. Come back for what? Because you let him get over? Kids ain't changed. Y'all have. Coaches. Y'all have changed.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Doom.
What up, Locker Room? What up, world? We back at it, Locker Room. Wednesdays as always, live and direct, how we do. Fresh off the holiday. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Everybody feeling good about themselves. Y'all might have start getting ready for them little diets and them little lies y'all gonna plan. What, in 2020, y'all gonna say y'all gonna go to the gym?
Yeah.
You might well already start now, so you'll be done lying by the new year. I got my man, none other than Worldwide B Mac in here. Worldwide B, back at it, the Locker Room, man. We got my man Dan Cross. We got my man Seth Smith back on, and we at it live, man. Seth, what's going on down there, man? Where you at?
Man, we in Southern Illinois, hometown, Carbondale.
Damn, you wrapped up like a mummy.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Hey, as y'all see down at the bottom scrolling, MLKcelebration.com. I need y'all to go to that site. They offering scholarships for our kids. $1,500 scholarships, $1,000 scholarships. You can't beat that. Check it out. And I'm going to read you more information as we get on the show. What's up with Dan?
I'm good on this end, man.
Man, we can't see your face, Florida,
though. So we're just trying to continue working
There you
hard
go.
and keeping things light.
Hold on, Dan. Hold on. Before we get into this, because, you know, I always got classics. My man Bobby Mack, Dan Cross. That's a legend right there. This Florida
Back to you,
boys,
my brother. Pleasure meeting you.
they started this Florida basketball movement. You understand? They the originals. 95, first Final Four. Was that the first Final Four for Florida, Dan?
94, yeah, Ray. First Final Four, right after you guys.
Right after I got. That's what's up, baby. So I want you to introduce yourself. Turn up the volume a little bit. Let the world know who you are, Dan. Then we're going to get into it. My man, Dan Cross, Florida, Carbondale, Worldwide Cat. Go ahead, Dan.
Yes, sir. So first of all, pleasure. Thank you for having me. Pleasure being on this radio show. Dan Cross is my name. As Seth mentioned before, from Carbondale, Illinois, born in Chicago, went to school at University of Florida. I live in Orlando, Florida right now, providing a lot of opportunities for youth within communities throughout the state, just to provide opportunities for student athletes at the high school level to achieve higher academics and higher athletic achievements. And I'm grateful and honored to have the opportunity to sit with the both of you.
Oh man, we glad to have you on. Go ahead, B.
No. I mean, that's a good accomplishment, man. So, what made you set up these programs? Like, what triggered this? Like, you just giving back, which that's a good thing. But what is your real goal in this whole thing, Nessa?
Well, allow me to answer your first question with what triggered this. I think, as all of us know, we come from different communities in the cities or towns that we're from. Somebody has always given me in particular the opportunity to achieve for higher goals. And I could have went one or two ways, and anybody that know me it's different personalities that come along with guys like myself or like guys like ourselves. And so the trigger just came from, hey man, like I understand the system. I understand the NCAA system. We've played at the highest level there is to it. We understand that these coaches that are involved don't necessarily know the game, but if we're going to play the game this way, then I got to bounce the ball the same way that they want to play. So with that being said, we started out with camps, got to develop the kids. Start out with relationships with the decision makers that want to put our kids in position to receive a free education. I'm sorry, but I come from a family of 7. It was 5 of us. Ain't no way that my mom and dad was going to be able to afford education. So in understanding and knowing this, if this is about just exposing kids for higher opportunities, then that is what triggered me to start my foundation called Athlete Connections Foundation, and utilizing sports to teach kids life skills. Once you can teach and develop, then the rest really is up to that individual on what he may be able to accomplish or may not be accomplished, but it's not going to be based off of opportunity and a couple of dollars. So that is the reason and the cause that triggered me to want to just do my part. I'm not trying to save the world, but I believe I can save at least a community or two with the individuals that I've been involved with. So to answer your question, that's the reason why I founded, the foundation, and why I choose to give back in this manner. It's just through sports.
And mention the foundation name again, Dan, and where we can find you and find out more information.
Yes, it's the foundation is called Athlete Connections Foundation. The website is called athleteconnections.org or AC4FOR Youth Foundation. So again, AC4Youth.org or athleteconnections.org. So one of those two websites which link together, you can find more information about what we're doing, the services that we're providing, the youth that we're providing services for, along with the youth that have gone on to receive college scholarships as well.
Athlete played at the highest level, played in the big game. You made it to the Final Four, championship, all of that, bro. How was it reinventing yourself and preparing for this phase of life? How was that transition after basketball? How has that gone?
Listen, Ray, it's probably one of the most difficult transitions that I've ever had to make in my life. From doing something that I had been taught to do to now trying to figure out what next am I good at doing. And for most, it's not an easy transition, not unless if you stay in the game of basketball and you coach. You know, most guys are going to college coaching, but I didn't want to do that. I had seen enough of that in my life to where I didn't want to be a part of that family no more. Just because I know what comes along with that. You know, when from the age of 9 to 10, you missed every Christmas, every birthday, you know, every Thanksgiving, every major holiday, summers are gone, just about, and your life is basketball. You know, when it's time to finally get away, that's what I wanted to do. And for me, I wanted to raise a son and daughter, and for the most part, be around them. And so, you know, when you're trying to be around a son and daughter and raise them instead of the game raising them or the streets raising them, then there's a sacrifice. Man. And so that transition, again, was the hardest for me, and just trying to figure out what am I good at doing outside of drilling the basketball.
So how did you?
And then once I figured and found out
those avenues, how did you explore and find those avenues?
Trial and error. It was trial and error. Just trying to first figure out, like, what was my new team? What did my new team look like? Who was a part of that team? Who could I trust? Who could I trust to help guide me in this very sensitive and emotional state of, man, how do I make dollars and cents all over again without working a typical 9 to 5? I'm not built to work a typical 9 to 5.
Yeah, bro,
that's not me.
Hey, your homeboy on the other end, Red, he'll tell you the same story. And I'm sitting next to an entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying? So this is what we do, bro, around here. You already know.
Yeah.
So when you understand that you're not built and equipped that way, you know, there's a sacrifice that comes along with that. So you're not gonna make money like you was making money before playing the game. You got to learn how to dribble all over again. You got to learn how to shoot all over again. And unfortunately, it don't happen overnight. So to answer your question, it was just, you know, it was just exploring. It's almost like a career assessment. Just, you know, what am I good at? I need to go back to the same boosters and alumni that the NCAA told me to stay away from, that was illegal and I was supposedly banned from because of all NCAA rules and regulations. I need to go back to them same people that spent all this money to watch me play. And I'm going to ask them, what do you do? Can you help me? Can you hire me? Can you possibly be a business partner? Can you help me develop my own resources to now do what I want to do? And so that was the hardest transition for me, is to find out how can I give back. Man, I ain't go to school for no nonprofit and try to help out my community. I was doing what the next man did, but there's a blueprint to the business. I just need to find out what them plays are. That's all I need to find out.
No doubt.
Once I find out them plays, then I become a dangerous man. But as we all know, you know, college, they're not sharing too many plays when it comes to business. They're not doing it.
Not with the athletes, really.
No. My agent, he just trying to get his cut, you know, and for most of us, I flip-flop 4 or 5 different agents just because I'm peep game.
Right.
So, and understanding that, you know, it's like, man, you know, it's almost like when you on the court and you're trying to pick that next 5, you got to pick some role players. You can't pick that all-star team.
Right.
So I just needed some guys that I could trust to say, hey, help me figure out this next part of life. Foundation work. Was it going to be coaching? You know, so, and it's, you know, there's no blueprint to that, fellas.
And I think that's where our foundation is going to come together, where the lab, Life After Ball, we're going to really make a connection, bro, because I think you have an excellent way of explaining the transition and putting a lot of things into words, you're going to help a lot of people with that. But let's get to the sports, man. I got to talk to sports because I got a classic dude. You're a classic dude. And I asked Ty Law this because he was the founder. His team was the founder of the Patriots Revolution and that dynasty. How does it feel, 94, 95, Final Four, how does it feel seeing Joakim Noah and them guys springboard off of y'all's backs and continue to build a legacy of Florida Gator basketball?
Listen, Ray, and I know you can attest to this. Cats like Joakim, cats like Al Horford, cats like Corey Brewer, when they give you that due respect to say, hey, you helped start this, the Billy Donovans of the world, it's kind of the ultimate respect and even street credibility when it comes to like how this all got started. So for me, it's a great feeling to know, and you know, a part of this is ego and pride, man. I can't lie to you, but it's a respect that's given to say, you know what, we appreciate what you helped to start, and there's not too many cats that can say you did this for the first time. It's only one Fab Five. It's only one group that went to the Final Four at University of Florida. There aren't too many things in life that you can say, I was the first to do that.
All the great ones, when we looked at the University of Florida, they were football players. The Emmitt Smiths, the Rats, and all that. I mean, y'all had so many come through there. We like, man, basketball, they don't play that down there. They on the gridiron, B. You know what I'm saying? And for them to show up and do what they did, it was amazing, bruh. It was amazing.
They athlete.
Yes.
I mean, they athlete group was so good in football. Some of them boys didn't even have to go to Florida. They could just go to the NFL and go to and get on the practice squad and even play, man. It's amazing the speed and that them boys have, and that's amazing just to be, to see that,
right,
that they didn't have to go through that avenue.
Right.
They were so talented and good, they could have just went straight to the NFL,
right,
and play, which you can see sometimes. You'll see it on the NFL. Some of them boys, high school, then them boys just went straight. And, that's saying a lot about Florida, though. You know what I mean?
Hey, B,
Yeah.
So listen to me. So you speak about Florida football.
Right.
It's cats. So, we Midwest, we from the Midwest. And so when you see cats that's running a 4-3 and they don't stretch and they just come onto the field and just start running. It's a different breed. It's a different breed of athlete.
Yes.
When you finally ask them, like, how you get so fast, and they tell you because we chase rabbits in the muck. Like, what's the muck?
And they mean it too, don't they?
They mean it, and they don't crack no smile. Gold teeth, dreads.
Man.
Gold teeth, dreads.
Man.
These boys don't even understand it. It's not a game, bro.
Man, these boys,
It's not a game.
I tell them all the time.
Matter of fact, shout out to all my Florida cats, especially those that came to U of M and came to Michigan, man. I love y'all because y'all was like Texas boys to me damn near, minus the dreads.
Hey, I tell them boys with them dreads. It's Florida. Man, them boys a different breed, like you said, man.
It's a different breed.
Man, that is
So, but with saying that, Brian, and he alluded to the football. Bobby Mack was touching on the football. It speaks volumes for you to have a son that's on the Florida football team and the university. What led to that? Your son coming to the University of Florida and playing football, bro.
Listen, man. So I'm a share some information that usually will trigger me to shut down. And so when you deal with the game and basketball, love and basketball, like I've dealt with the game with love and basketball, and some other stuff that come along with it. And so, from when my son was early, when he was young, I had already dreamt his dreams for him. I didn't know if they was going to come true or not, but it was always what I wanted for my son. And in this case, what any father would want for his son. I just didn't necessarily know if he was equipped or if the blueprint was going to end up being how my blueprint was. My family is a bunch. We all play basketball. I ain't like smelling no grass. So for my son to go from me trying to want him to be a basketball player to him saying, no, Dad, I don't want to have no part of basketball because I don't want to be compared to you. I had to respect that.
Real. That's real.
I mean, you said
I had to respect it and then follow his dream and make sure that I was equipping him and exposing him to the opportunity. My son didn't start playing football until his senior year in high school.
Wow.
Man,
Wow.
come on, man. See, that's that breed.
You heard
man.
me.
That's,
Wow.
that's
You
that
heard me.
breed,
Yeah.
man.
So was he
Man.
playing basketball up until that point?
Man, listen, so I'll just share this. I unfortunately went through a very heavy and difficult divorce
Right.
to where he was going back and forth.
Right.
And so when I want one thing and his mama wanting something else, anybody that know that situation know it's a hell of a fight.
Yep. All the way through.
It's a real fight.
Yeah. All the way through.
So I can either back down from her, or I can let my seed know that this is the way it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I can either back down from the court systems and let the judge know, you know what, this is my son, and I'm not gonna let nobody take my son away from me,
Right.
or I can fight it and may the best man win.
There it is, right
I
there.
may have lost some of them battles and some of them wars, but at the end of the day, I gained the respect of my son, and I made sure that he ended up where he was supposed to end up.
Yeah. And he saw you fighting for him too, though. That's one of the major things that a son need to see is because one day he gonna have to fight, and if he don't see you fight, then he ain't gonna have none in him. And then he'll always have that on top of your head. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, man, you
Yep.
didn't fight for me while I'm out. You know, so that's pivotal right there, bro.
Hey, man,
That's serious.
And it's funny you say that, man.
Yes.
I just had a meeting with my pastor and we talked about that.
Yes.
And I asked him the question about why does this generation of kids run from hard things? When they see difficult situations or
They
hard
don't see it at
situations, they don't fight it. And he say,
They don't see it at home. They don't see it in a man, or if they do see it in certain men, later on down that line, that man end up failing them, or lying to them, or they starting to see that man do something
Inconsistency.
different. You know what I mean? And
Inconsistency.
so when you see that, so it's I'm telling you, man, it's serious that the relationship we have with our son is important because we already see what it do out here in the world when you don't have it. You know what I mean? But it's still, he your seed, so he your bloodline and DNA. So, that's a spitting image of you if you really look at. You just watch yourself grow up.
That's all over again.
Yeah.
So if I don't raise them, I already know there's some other options that can raise them, and I didn't want that to happen.
Right.
So how did he end up at Florida at your alma mater, Dan? That's crazy.
Man, that's very.
I'm gonna tell you how small of a world it is. So as you know, Ray, Seth, B-Mac, when you work so hard to lay a foundation and a blueprint, the goal is, as you see other generations of wealth, is to build that same wealth. And wealth don't necessarily mean money. It just means opportunity.
Say, man, we don't have a red flag up here. Normally we throw the red flag when y'all drop real game. We make you repeat that shit. Oh, there go the flag right there. Tell them again about wealth. Say that about wealth. Wealth what?
So wealth don't necessarily mean money.
Man.
It means opportunity. And from that opportunity, if you understand the blueprint, that's how you build wealth. And so in this case with my son, because I had already built a blueprint, not knowing that I was gonna have a son or have a daughter. By the way, my daughter at UF too.
Man.
That's amazing.
And to
That's
have
the blueprint though.
and in this
He
case,
said my daughter. Okay.
listen, the Michigans of the world, the Floridas of the world, you don't find siblings and siblings of color at the same university.
Ooh.
Just because they make it so hard to get into.
Yes. Yes.
And so when I talk about this blueprint, I'm talking about, all right, you asked me, Ray, how did my son get in? I'm gonna tell you how he got in. He wasn't the smartest kid. So he ain't getting off of his academics. He wasn't the most athletic kid, so he didn't get a scholarship. He had a learning disability, and his learning disability was much like mine. And I'm getting ready to give y'all some education on how this system, how you go in through the back door if you can't get in through the front door.
Free game. It's called free game.
Free game.
Right.
So listen, my son, I made sure, because growing up, and this goes back to my blueprint, I ain't never do well on tests. ACT, SAT, math tests, English tests, science tests. I don't care what kind of test it was until it came to basketball. I ain't do well.
Right.
When you trying to tell me how much time I have to take a test, I don't do well under that kind of pressure.
Right.
So I needed time to take my tests. My son is the same. I needed time to take tests. My son was the exact same way. So because my dad was a principal, he told me how a lot of the Anglo-Saxons, you know, some people call them white people. I'm just gonna say my European brothers and sisters, how they do things.
Yeah.
They make sure that their kids have a learning disability. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let me help you with that. That they make sure that it's verbalized and
Documented.
that the power know that and give them enough time and give them the label or tag, giving them opportunities to have financial aid, to be able to take tests, to help tutoring, all that stuff. And like, these are things that they don't tell us, and that, you know, people say, oh, well, my kid is slow, or my kid, he just don't do good at tests. Well, like Dan is giving game to people all over America, all over the world. If your kids have any kind of issue whatsoever, there are ways around it. There are ways, instead of just giving up and saying, hey, my kid can't do this, my kid can't do that. Dan willed his kids to be able to have the necessary support system. And that's all life is, as we all know, is how big is your support system? Right. Who can I lean on when it gets tough? Who can I go to when I need a leg up, or when I need some assistance, whether it be financial, resources, information. Right. These are the things that are important, and that's what Dan is great at facilitating. And Dan got that, like we all did, from our parents. Because I'm fortunate enough to be back. I don't know your parents, but I knew Ray's parents. Right. I knew Dan's parents, and we all come from a spiritual, faithful background. And with that background and that upbringing, it's a no die, no quit situation at all times. And we know how it is to come through hard times. I don't mean to get into another story, but I'm gonna get off the script, off the field. Yeah. Me and Dan's families used to go, because Dan and them was 7 deep, we was 6 deep. So you got 13 people in 2 families. We go to the movies.
And a 3-bedroom home.
My mom and mama sneak bologna sandwiches in there and homemade popcorn in the brown bag in the purse, so we could all pass the popcorn and bologna sandwiches in the movie theater.
Bro, we did that with a pack of 5. I mean, we took sandwich meat and everything else in there. We made spreads in there, bro.
All that, but that's from a resilient background and from a faithful background and foundation. And instead of Dan giving up and saying, man, this too hard, or man, this ain't fair, that everybody else do tests on these times and I can't do it in that time, he did it the smart way. Like he said, every house got a front door and a back door, and he found that back door is something that was even more important. Instead of just letting his situation with his ex-wife grind him up, and he just said, I ain't dealing with the kids, he supported them. He also showed them more than he could tell them. And by him showing them his faith in the system, in God, in Florida, led both of his kids to be able to attend Florida. Even though they may not have had all the skills that some of the suburban kids or some of the kids would have influenced. He couldn't do like the USC parents and go pay 150 racks, you know what I'm saying, to get the kid in. He did it the right way. He talked to the right people, and they didn't come to him and knock on his door. Dan had to go knock on their door. He had to go talk to people. He had to get up in the morning. It just didn't automatically happen. But by his determination, his hard work, which he learned, which we learned in the same settings, communities, things that we trying to show and get onto these kids and impress on these kids, these are the things that have made all of you guys successful like you are, all of us successful like we are, because we have an ability to fight through things, adapt, overcome. Because that's all it is for Ray to get to Michigan, for B-Mac, for you to be in a position before you hurt your knee to be one of the all-state players in the state of Texas. For me and Dan to have athletic accolades we come from a town where it's 20,000 people. For us to both go and play major college athletics, it's not easy. It ain't easy. And the only way we did it is by a support system, by having support, faith, also knowledge enough to know that, hey, we gotta, what do they say on the Mac, B-Mac? You said we have to learn how to live within X society, but without being a part of X society. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, exactly, yes. That is very true, man. And what you said is 1,000%.
So go ahead, go back. Look, we're gonna take a quick break and come right back. Dan, I need you to explain how that back door work when we come back, because I got people really concerned about knowing that, because that's prevalent in our community, and we scared to ask for help. We're gonna give them solutions. That's what the locker room does, and I think Seth gave us a great insight on how that works. I want you to elaborate more after that, after a quick break. We're gonna take a quick 30-second break, and we're gonna come right back to it.
Yeah, make sure the screen door open.
Right there. You got game you want to give them? Say, man, you know how we do it. We play it like we in the living room, man, but we in the locker room. We doing it the same way.
Yeah.
How you feeling about MacFacts, B? You gonna drop MacFacts on them today?
I was, man, but I had to let certain things go so I could open up certain things, because, the way I was gonna word it, it was gonna be some people think I was gonna talk about them, man, and I'm just gonna come with it, so it won't be, because things just happen,
right? And
we gotta let certain things go, but certain things break apart for certain things to come together.
Oh man, most definitely.
So we gotta do that.
Most definitely.
It'll come together.
All right. That's game in itself.
Yeah.
MacFacting. Say, man, I don't need y'all not listening to these MacFacts and then y'all bumping into me in the streets with these same problems my G telling y'all about. Y'all understand it out there, world? The MacFacts are meant to apply to your life.
Yeah.
Apply it to your life. But Dan, let's get back to this education, man, because a lot of families are suffering from that, bro, and they don't know how to really deal with it in order to get their kids and their families to the next level. So talk about that process, bro.
Yeah.
So I went, there were three things that I did early on. So because my background was in basketball, I started camps. And I'm gonna tell you how this is a segue into the educational piece. So Ray, I started camps for one reason, for my son, was to develop him, and that way I could be close to him at all times, and I could teach him. I could teach him more than all these special ed teachers and special ed coaches that was trying to teach him all these bad habits.
He said special ed coach.
and how to
telling
develop
real.
it. But
Real.
also, it was to now, if I could teach my son, I knew I could attract the athletic director's sons and daughters, the professors' sons and daughters, and all the decision-makers' sons and daughters that was at University of Florida.
I like how you did.
So if I teach them now and I can better them now, they're gonna remember me later on when they got to make some decisions about getting my kids into school.
Right.
Seed planting, number one.
Seed planting. Free game.
No, number two. In our communities, learning disabilities are looked upon as special ed or dumb or all these negative and demeaning connotations and how we are defined based off of our knowledge or lack thereof.
Right.
Right.
Or resources.
So because I had a learning disability, my learning disability was I just wasn't interested in the school subjects.
Man,
It wasn't that I
you
couldn't
sound
do
just
it.
like me.
Whatever I was interested in, I made straight A's.
Yeah.
Whatever I wasn't interested in, they labeled me as I had a learning disability.
Yep.
Huh.
No, I knew that I knew they wasn't teaching the right history anyway, so I wasn't interested in it.
Same.
I knew the math they was teaching that had nothing to do with adding money or subtracting money, so I wasn't interested in it. Calculus and algebra and x plus y and x plus z. I was the type of dude, I'm gonna ask you, what x plus and x minus y and z got to do with me learning real math?
Yeah.
So I knew that early on. But I knew this later on is that learning disability would enable me to receive a scholarship. Now, as crazy as that may sound, it allowed me to be put in position to have time to be taken on my tests.
Mhm.
Whether it was read to me, whether it was a tape being played,
Man.
I can now comprehend based off of what I heard
Yeah.
and not what I read.
Right.
It take me a long time to read, and I ain't dumb by no means.
Right.
Hey, let me insert this before you even go further. Guess what, y'all? They don't put a difference on your diploma.
No, they don't.
If you do the standard test or you get a little help taking the test,
Yep.
that degree still read the same.
Same
It's
thing.
all the same.
No different
so That's
stamp.
part of the system.
And you walk across like everybody else.
But
With
I'm
the
gonna
same,
tell you
same
this,
shoes on.
bruh. But I'm gonna tell you what you saying is so real because when I got to U of M and got in those classes, Dan,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe some of the kids that were there were actually there. Like,
Yes.
your family got money. You
Yeah.
got help getting here. You
Yeah.
actually not that smart. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But if you're not in the game, you won't understand the game. Go ahead,
At
keep
all.
going, keep teaching. So how did that segue into your child getting into school?
So, because Daniel had a learning disability, every university and top 10 university, including Ivy League schools, they have to accept a certain amount of kids with learning disabilities.
Oh. Free game.
I'm gonna say that again.
Free game.
The
Every
flag already went up.
university,
Man.
every university,
Even your top universities.
this is a hidden secret.
Wow.
I'm just gonna say University of Florida, and I know Michigan do it too.
Harvard does.
Every university has to accept a certain percentage of kids with learning disabilities.
Wow.
Now, learning disabilities can be defined in many different ways. The learning disability that I'm speaking of is just, it's not necessarily a handicap,
Yeah.
but it's what I just said. It's just a disability.
Right.
And so in learning that, that's how my son got into school, into a top 10 school that has to have a certain amount of kids based off of diverse. I don't even care how he got in. Whether you want to put diversity on it, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Once you get into school, Ray, like you said, once you get in them classrooms and you find out, man, this cat, he just as smart as me, or he just as dumb as me, or
He's dumb as
it
me.
take him just as long to read like me, or he got the same learning disability.
Man.
Now it's a hidden secret. Now this has nothing to do with race or where you come from.
Right.
You're on a level playing field at
It's
that
a
point.
level playing
That's all
field.
it is.
Game now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
and now it becomes opportunity.
Yep.
So I'll just share this with you because I don't want to be long-winded. That opportunity led to, all right, I need to find out who the coaches are at University of Florida. I got to do this for my son. Like B Mac just said, my credibility is now on the 9 because my son looking at everything that I do for him, because eventually he gonna have to do the same exact thing once he figure out the bloodline, the genetics. He gonna have to do the same. So literally, man, we walk through the practice field. I'm looking for the head coach. Man, I'm looking for him. So listen, I introduced him because originally he got into University of Florida. So the first 2 years he was supposed to take online classes. I already knew that my son wasn't equipped for online classes, right? Because kids ain't trying to be in front of no computer for that long, and I don't need for him to be at home with his mama. Right. No disrespect. Right.
I love it. I love it.
Comfort. It's a comfort. Yeah. That's
why. I need for some other men to teach my young man the same principles and the same disciplines that I'm gonna teach him under a different roof.
That's the struggle I'm having right now. Go ahead. I'm trying to find them other men. Yeah. Go ahead though.
Yeah, but not only that though, he got to learn life by living life, because you know sometimes when they get sheltered up under their parents, I'm not saying mother or father, but under their parents, they get sheltered sometimes, and it's easy when you make that face and mama can come help you, but when you out there in that world, you got to figure it out.
Yeah. No,
which now gives me credibility as a father to say, you know what? If Coach Mullen, if his whole staff is saying the same thing Daddy's saying at the same school that Daddy went to 25 years ago, there must be something to this.
Yes.
That blueprint don't change. So I'll just finish this story by saying I introduced my son to Coach Mullen, just to say, hey, Coach Mullen, my son is already accepted in the school, but he's taking online classes. I just want you to remember the name. And I didn't even tell him all of my accolades. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I just said, remember this name, because in 2 years, I just would appreciate you giving him the opportunity to walk on to the team. And so I'll tell you something about walk-ons, because walk-ons aren't like they used to be, because the standards have changed for a lot of the top schools like Michigan to Florida get into. You don't have the same talent. You don't have the same talent of walk-ons, because it's harder to get into those schools.
Right.
So the talent level for walk-ons has gone down. So a kid like mine that has all the genes and athletic ability in the world, they can look at him and say, we want him.
Right.
So mind you, I just planted a seed in Coach Mullen's 2 years from now. I need to make sure that you remember this name. As I'm walking out of the facility, I hear a Gator fan call my name.
Whoa.
Dan Cross, how you doing? We remember you. Great job, man. Is there anything I can do? Is this your son? Yeah, this is my son. Man, I just wanted him to introduce him to Coach Mullen. And just wanted to plant a seed. Well, what position does he play? Oh, he played wide receiver. I'm answering questions for Daniel. They asking Daniel questions. He already shook. He played wide receiver. Well, I know. So this is what the fans told me, boss. They're going to wide receiver coach right there. I know him well. Let me go introduce you to him.
Man.
Okay, let's go. The wide receiver coach they just came from Mississippi State. They looked at Daniel and say, yeah, we like him. We'll remember him in 2 years. So as we talk to the wide receiver coach, the director and development of player coach know my name from when I went to school. He say, Dan. Then he come up to me. He say, Dan, man, I know you don't know me, but I remember you when you played ball, man. I heard your son looking to come to Florida. Is he already accepted? I said, yeah. He said, and I said, he taking these online classes, so I got to wait 2 years. He said, no, you don't. Oh. I said, what you talking about? He said, I said, man, is there any way he can get to school now? I just need to get him from under his mama house. He said, yeah, let me talk to my academic person right here. Talk to the academic person that happened to be there the same day at the same time. She said, let me look at this stuff. Do you have your student ID? Daniel had a student ID. She said, let me just look at some things. We get back into you. I said, so are you saying it's a possibility that y'all can enroll him in the school this semester? She said, yeah. The rest is history.
All time.
Y'all heard what I said?
I'm
The
gonna
rest
let
is
B
history.
Mac elaborate on this, Bobby Mac. Slam that worldwide.
So here it is. He threw it off the backboard, and I'm a two-handed. But okay, listening to your story, how it all lined up, I call that divine purpose.
That's
from
all
God,
it is.
from God, the God. So all the
Yep.
people who don't believe in Him, I'm sorry for you, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if you just listen to what this gentleman just said, that's divine purpose. I don't care. Now why I say divine purpose? He was there. He was there. He was there. He was there. You could have
Dots
went.
got to be connected.
Come on, man. You could have went the day before. Just been talk to the coach.
Ghost Town.
It wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked. But when God step in, that's when you gotta let him do him. And I tell people that all the time. You gotta rest. We gotta rest in God's word. We gotta rest in the faith that we have for each other. And if we don't, then you think you can do everything. That's why you're gonna always be at the bottom, man. It's a reason why all this happened the way it did, man.
But it's another thing. It's another thing that I want you to elaborate on. Is the integrity of a father, because his name.
Come on, man.
And I need the kids to
But
understand
he
that
wouldn't have saw him.
people are always watching you.
Everywhere you go, they saw him.
And remember, though, the man he was.
Now why did this divine? Here we go. They see him now. Could have went any other day. I'm just saying, but he's there. So, but that lets you know what you did, and just but the balling part and all of that. But still, they ain't heard nothing after when you left. You didn't go to jail all the time. You wasn't over here. You know what I'm saying? Because then that's when they hide from you. when you in front of all that trouble, they hide from you. They like, man, that goes Daddy right there, man. And then, but when you start setting the tone, and once again, your son gonna see it, and it's gonna come back, and it's gonna play back in his life. History repeats itself, man. But
and they got a word for that, B-Mac. It's called a testament.
And that's
he was
all
a
it
testimony on his son, on himself, his character, what he did stood out, and his son got to reap the benefits for the seed that his daddy sowed.
Exactly, because if you don't have no test, there's no testimony.
No. So I'll say this about the testimony. Like,
I love that.
And let's go back to what Ray said. I just need for him to be on the same playing field and make sure that the playing field is even.
Right.
If it's even, then it's up to God and it's up to them genetics that he put in, that bloodline to take over.
Exactly.
I can't do nothing else now. I gotta let the blueprint now play itself out.
Right. And that and I mean, even later on in life, the blueprint. See, they can't take that from you or him, because it worked with the daughter too.
So your daughter came after your son, or did she go? Was she there prior to? Talk to me about that, D.
She came the year after. Now she got different genetics and a different makeup.
Right.
She is smart.
Right.
I be kind of smart.
Yeah.
So she would have been accepted to any Ivy League school. She wants to be a doctor.
Regardless.
You know, I exposed her the same way. She's just, she understands the game. She got street smarts.
Man. And books.
She understands the blueprint.
Man, that's a powerful
and she played the game real well.
Ooh, that's powerful, right?
So her goal was, hey Dad, I could go to an Ivy League school now and not have any fun and just be in my books, or I can have fun at a public school and then go to an Ivy League school, for my medical. So that's how her mind is equipped and wired. And in the meantime, I get to be around my brother. So now it's a family thing that, as fathers and as single fathers, it does my joy, it does my heart well, because when you're trying to do the best that you can do for your son and your daughter, and you don't never know what's going on in the other household, and now you become the fun dad instead of the disciplinarian dad, and you don't get the same time, and you know, court systems are now, you know, helping to raise your kids, and they don't know you from Adam or Eve, then you know there has to be a certain amount of faith, B-Mac, as you mentioned before, and like there's certain things that I just like you can't write no book like this, and you can't read nothing from no book when it comes to how you should prepare your son or your daughter, or how you should raise them.
No doubt,
Every day is a new day, and it's a new experience.
Very true.
It's a new parenting day that you ain't know about the day before.
Very true.
It ain't teach you.
Right. Right.
So now I just got to go off of, man, what I know. I know how to go to the whole hard.
Mm.
And that's my mentality. I'm going to go hard, and if I run your ass over, I may say I'm sorry, but if I don't, then, you know, I figured out along the way.
Yeah.
Charge it to the game if I don't.
You going straight to
Charge
the goal.
to the game.
Yeah.
So, and that's real, man. And boy, I applaud you. You know what I'm saying? Because I get a chance to catch up with you and interview you at the same time and hear some great insight and great info, bruh. But let's get back to this basketball thing.
Yeah.
You got buckets, and you a bucket getter. How do you think your game would translate to today's basketball? No contact, they don't even touch. You can't even touch somebody.
Touch foul.
How do you think you would fare in today's basketball, D?
Man, I wouldn't even know how to act. I'm so used to somebody touching me that I don't know how to play if somebody don't touch me.
I wish you could tell my son, boy, he know, because he the same way. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I know it would transfer over and translate over well, just because the game is more of a non-contact sport than it is contact. We want contact just so we can say something.
Right.
You don't touch me, I can't
I'm
say
gonna have to
nothing.
interrupt, Ray. I apologize to y'all, but I gotta interrupt.
Go ahead, little bro.
I was Dan high school point guard now.
Yeah, you was.
Let me explain something to y'all people.
Oh man.
They knew how to get attempts in high school in the 90s. So if you think with a free world, free range, you think what Harden doing, Cole? My boy DC put numbers up, dog.
That's why I'm asking him. You know, I know his game.
Yeah.
I know
Never
his
had a
game.
shot he ain't like. I will promise you. He know how to shoot. Only thing Ray and Dan are like in one thing. Only people gonna get them to stop from scoring is the coach. That's it. Ain't nobody gonna get in front of him and stop him. Ray too fast and too strong, and Dan too big and too strong for a point guard.
Yeah.
They both in today's game would be killing. I'm telling you, as a person that played with both of them, and I'm an avid fan of the game, and I watch the game closely. And without a person with a hand on their hips, both of them cats would have been 27, 28 a game.
And it's crazy though, Red, to even think about that, man.
It's crazy, Red.
It's crazy because today I was looking at Juwan and them play the other night and how the style of basketball they play. I was like, man, I'd have been one and done in that system, bruh.
One and done. You would have too. I promise you would have.
One and done,
And there's somebody to touch you.
And one let them shoot. They just free flowing offense. Man.
Michigan looking good, man. Michigan
And they
looking
wearing
real.
Jordans. That's the craziest
Beautiful.
thing.
The top to bottom.
Yes.
Y'all started that though. Y'all started that, Ray.
But you know the crazy part about that, D, and I told Juwan that I say, man, we can't let them rock the black shoes, black socks yet.
Yeah.
They not official all the way yet.
No.
But them young boys playing hard, and I'm proud of him and the coaching staff as well as the kids right now, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, that should never be done ever again. They put them shoes and socks into the Hall of Fame, and they retire them and put them up on the banners. You can't never replicate that.
Straight up.
Man.
I
But
agree.
Hey, look, I'm gonna say something to both of y'all too, because you know a lot of cats like
I
Juwan.
agree with that.
And if you know, like we all know, like Howard Isley, he went to school with Jay Rose in high school, and he's on the Michigan staff with Juwan.
Right.
But you two being ex-basketball players, there's two different paths to go. You can go and you can be a coach and be, at accredited university, or go get you an assistant, grad assistant, or be in the league as an assistant like Juwan and all that. But you two are going the high route. Y'all are going the route of the unsung hero.
Yep.
And really and truly, to be honest with y'all, that's really kind of how both of y'all played.
Yep.
Y'all both played with other people that acquired and had to have the spotlight and all the attention, and you both still excelled under those conditions. And that's a different kind of person it takes to be able to still excel, knowing that I'm not the focal point or I'm not the one that's going to get all the attention. And now, instead of you guys doing a Penny Hardaway, a Juwan Howard move of getting all the acclaim, and we're proud and we're happy for them and all their success. But it's something to be said for guys like you guys that are volunteering your hard-earned time, your money. I mean, you miss time with your families to go and help mentor, teach, and coach other kids. Looking for community initiatives and acts and plans, engagements that y'all can do and can help bring to the community.
Right.
That's the unsung part. You know, people think it's easy to coach 12 dudes that are at the University of Michigan or at the University of Memphis and are good enough and smart enough to go to school, play basketball under the setting. But you got them kids, Dan is on X amount of kids he's got to the top from his athletic program. Like I was earlier, he's got a lab, life after that is going to be so big. And this is all over the country. Once we get it in the hands of get together. Because those kids that are, is more of us that don't go to the league, like the three of us, that's
Scoot up to the mic, Red, because you going in and out.
We speak more on behalf of the majority because we're the guys that did play hard, didn't get the limelight, yet and still we work hard and we work for and with community initiatives and objectives on a daily basis. And you guys are going to reach out to 10 times as many kids as, say, your Juwans and your Pennies. And so you guys are that much more important and instrumental in the foundation and the making of men and the making of young souls and putting them in position to teach one, reach one. So once they've learned and got the foundation and the lessons of life that you guys are teaching, they'll go on and they'll get that to the next person, teach that to their kids and their teammates, and they're going to learn how to be better teammates, better fathers, better brothers. You know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, I just want to inject a little.
Stay leaning forward though, because you going in and out.
Stuff of Ray and Dan talking to them kids, mentoring them kids, coaching them kids. I mean, that's gonna go so much further than anything that coaching 12 kids a year versus y'all touching 100 kids a year. So I just want to give both of y'all the credit and respect. And Cat and B Mac, we appreciate it.
But you gotta understand this though. You gotta understand this, Red. If they even had that platform, Dan and Ray, hey, they'll do the same thing as them boys doing. I'm just saying, if you gave
but they're not reaching as many people as Ray and Dan, because
Juwan
got 12 kids.
If you gave them the financial,
Ray got 100, Dan got 100.
They would do it too. They would do it too. If you gave them the financial, they would do that, and they would do what they doing. That's what you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying.
But you know the blessing with all of it is levels to it. You know what I'm saying, and I think Dan and myself, the reason we clicked when you introduced us so well is because we understood we was trench guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not built to be in the trenches, and that's part of what the locker room is doing, is we uplifting and recognizing those that are day-to-day in the trenches grinding and helping our kids. And I thank you for the love and credit, Red, with that, man, but that's what we do. You know, we built different, bruh. We built for the trenches. And you know, Dan, it's so crazy because he talk all that backwards, talk about testing and all that. He is one of the most intelligent basketball players we've ran across. Yeah. You understand? To play that position, you know what I'm saying, with that talent level and be successful and be a key part of a successful team, it takes a lot, bro, not to get the notoriety. And then to do this in the community.
He the point guard, he the head of the snake and still don't get no all the front.
But who really watching? The G.O.D.?
Nah, you know who really watching? That man, and this is why I like real people. And it ain't about color, it's about real people. You know who really watching? that guidance counselor or that admittance counselor or the president of
Yeah.
the university that's finna let your son into school, he really
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah.
He the one that understand the game.
Yeah.
The part is
Yeah.
trying to get our people in our community to understand and love the guys that are in the trenches. And not just the dude that's up there being celebrated that ain't sprinkling no money back to the community. That's what we trying to uplift and let our people know. The valuable people, like you said, Red, that don't make it to the NBA or the NFL, which is the 1%.
Yep.
What are we gonna do with the ones that come back with that game and give it to us? We can't keep shitting on them.
Yeah.
We got to receive that knowledge, incorporate it into our lives, and make our cities and communities better, man. And I love what you're doing in Florida, Dan. I love what you're doing in Red. You know, you go from D.C. all the way to Cali, so you across the map, man. You know,
and Illinois.
Hey, boy, and Illinois. He ain't playing no game. So I love the work y'all doing in the trenches.
Let me say this, Ray. Let me say this, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, eat.
So I'm listening to B Mac and I'm listening to you, Seth, little bro. And I'm speaking on behalf of Ray and myself, actually all of us. And so I follow Ray, and I follow Ray a long time, all the way up until we got into the CBA. And you don't even know this, Ray, but I always, you know, from my time at Freaknik, when Seth put us together and we first met in Atlanta, to CBA,
yes.
It was our goal to reach and accomplish the highest level. Why? Because we both deserved that and felt like we needed to be there.
Right.
And we kicked down every door possible to try to make that happen.
Right.
I'm pretty sure if University of Florida, University of Michigan would have hired us as coaches, we would have took it and took that 250, 300,000 and been great.
Yep.
But the doors closed. So when doors close, back to what you said, Ray, like everybody not equipped for when that door closed.
Man, that's true.
And then usually when one door closed, how we wrapped up is gonna be some domino effects. It's gonna be a couple of doors that's gonna close.
Yes.
And when the doors close, when it comes to things that you love, you question and almost go crazy to where depression set in.
Man.
Every emotion possible can set in to understand, like, man, why the game treat me this way?
Man.
Like, what I do? So, okay, the game treat me this way. I can't do this. I can't do that. Coaches ain't letting me through the door at NBA. I can't get no money. I just want my stamp really on my name so I can go across this water and make this
For real,
make this easy
Give
money.
him the game.
Yeah,
Give
for
him the
real.
game.
That's real. Yeah.
You understand? So
Yeah.
once you understand that, man, once some doors, what I'm gonna do? Because one or two things is gonna happen with mentalities like we got and stuff. We all got the same mentality. B Mac, I'm just looking at you and it seems like I'm spelling you got the same mentality too. Man, and look, if something don't happen quick, something gonna happen.
Boy.
So
You
I
ain't
can't
gotta
tell
say
you what's
it.
gonna
Man,
happen.
that's you, boy.
Something
Hey,
gonna happen.
man.
All my
Woo.
warning signs is gone.
Yeah.
I don't have no more warning signs.
Man, that's real talk.
It's over with.
That's real talk right there.
I'm
boy.
telling you. So them now become triggers.
Yes.
And so once the judge told me and gave me 30 hours of anger management because I was angry because I couldn't see my kids,
Huh.
I knew I was playing a different ball game.
That's system.
Yeah, I'm angry. I am angry. Who won't be angry, Judge?
Right.
You be angry too if I told you couldn't see your kids. So I served that time to say, you know what? There gotta be another blueprint
Yes.
for me to go
Yes.
through the back door.
Man.
I wish you would have given me what my, and I don't wish the same upon what the next man had, but like it'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice for that coach to say, yeah,
Yeah.
I
For
believe
sure.
in you.
Yeah.
That'd be real nice.
Yes.
But it ain't,
That ain't
for
our
whatever
reality.
reason.
Yep. Yep. I mean,
Yeah, it
we
is
got,
what
we
it
can
is.
know.
So let me
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yes. Yes.
I gotta put on a new suit.
Yep.
But you know,
what?
let me say this though. Let me say this
and
real
I'm
quick,
gonna-
Red. But Dan, you
Go
know
ahead,
what's
Red.
crazy is that we thought we were the minority. And actually, we are the majority. You know, they got us tricked and searching and going crazy.
Yeah.
When the position we were placed in is the norm.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Right.
the outside world don't understand that. So when we're giving them game about get your education, find your next hustle way before that last ball bounce or that last shot go up.
Right.
When we trying to stress that, they look at us crazy like, nah, man, I'm going to play forever. I'm that 1%. Okay,
Right.
fool, I seen better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was actually better than you. You know what I'm saying? So when you see that and hear that, it just makes you grind harder in the trenches and want to do more and be more creative with teaching our people and our kids the back door, the blueprint.
Yes.
Go ahead, Red.
Yep.
I was just gonna get in there, like he said that options. And, you know, you gotta learn that when the door closed, you gotta figure out something else. Well, I was gonna interject a funny story. That me and Dan we grew up in the same church. And Dan Daddy was a preacher, and my daddy was the head deacon. And Dan Daddy also played the organ.
Yeah.
And we was all so bad, me and Dan and his brothers and my brothers, that we used to sit by his daddy on the organ, and my daddy would be looking at us from the deacon bench, right in front of the where the preacher preach at.
Yeah.
So we get to laughing and playing too much, you'll see the craziest shit on earth. My daddy would stand up and walk downstairs through that back door,
Yep.
and you see about 5, 6 little boys have to follow him down them steps.
Yep.
Bro, you follow him down them steps.
You already know.
Hey, he take us to the preacher off, and that when he take his belt off, he say, "Well, let's try another approach. Since y'all didn't want to go this route, let me shake y'all up and let me let y'all know why we don't play in church like that."
Yeah.
And we'll all be stuck right there at the preacher office. But we knew from an early age, all right, you do something, there's repercussions to it. And once you hit that wall, it's options. You got to figure out something else and another way to move, maintain, and move around.
Yes.
Yep.
But understand this: when I whoop your ass, it's out of love.
Yeah.
It's all love.
Right.
And that-
Right. It's because I love you.
In the name of God.
It's so funny that before my son, he 10, I hit him every now and then, you know, on that. I said, before I whoop him, I say this, you know I love you, right?
You got to do
He
it.
knows-
I say, every time I say, you know I love you, right? So he already know it's out of love, it ain't out of hate. And that's just what it is.
You know what I tell my kids, and I don't even have to whoop them no more. What I used to tell them, go on, call the people if you want to. You know, I ain't even telling y'all that. Because the rules have changed. The laws have changed now. Call the people if you want to. They show up at my house, they getting whooped too.
And that's just how it is.
And that's what it is.
Hey, I'm going to say this because I'm the only one that ain't laughing. I did that.
I love y'all, boy. You know I love the shit out y'all. Say, man, well, you know what it is, man. You got some game you want to ask it. So, look, Dan, we always end the show with this question. So, B Mac gonna hit you with this question. Let him handle it, and then we're gonna close out the show in a minute. Send my love, but I want you to repeat your foundation and everything so we can find you and continue to support from Texas, bruh. Go ahead, B Mac. Ask that question.
Dan, it's been a pleasure, man, but I just got one question, man. How do you want to change the world?
How do I change the world?
How do you
How
want
do
to?
you want to?
What is your impact? What is the impact you want to leave on the world?
Yeah.
Selfishly, I want to leave a legacy for the things that I believe in. Starting with my son and daughter first. Those are the seeds that I've planted. So before I look outside, I got to make sure that within that my own are protected.
Yes.
My entire immediate family. And then as that continues to be affected and impacted in a positive way, selfishly, I'm only looking to impact the people that have impacted me. That's my legacy. Whether the people are the community that I come from, and I come from a lot of communities, and Ray can speak on this. Like we ain't traveled this whole world.
Man.
We ain't lived in countries that, if it weren't for ball,
Never would have seen.
ain't no way I would be in Israel, Italy,
Greece, Turkey, Cyprus, Finland, Venezuela, DR, Romania. So I'm not trying to save the world, but anywhere that I can leave a footprint, that's how I want to change. So at the end of the day, at least you ask, you know, like when you're on the basketball court and it's that 1 or 2 cats where you ask, like, who is that? Who is he? When somebody asks that question, you know you done done something.
You done did something. That's
Putting
true.
it down.
You done did something.
Yes.
So that's how I wanna. I'm not trying to change the world.
Yeah.
I'm not. Just like that's too much energy.
Yes.
And at this age, I don't have that much energy. Now, money can sometimes dictate, you know, how much you can affect. But man, at the age that I'm at and what I've been through, like my goal is, man, like if I can, you know, your kids now become my kids.
Right.
That's the village. That's the what Seth said, to each one teach one. And if we can do that and continue to understand the game, because this game, like technology has shrink the world down. So there ain't no excuses.
Right.
There ain't none from what Jesus looked like to slavery to the blueprint to like it's a blueprint to it. Ain't nothing changed. These folks ain't changed. They may change suits and they may change their dance and the music may change, but listen, man, they still two-stepping the same way.
The script is still the same.
Yes.
Most definitely.
It ain't changed. So it's now just continue to understand the blueprints that I'm around, that I surround myself with. And if I can continue to do that, then I just want to stay in my lane, man, and continue to do what I'm good at doing. I can't do what you good at doing, Ray. I can't be mad. I'm not good at that.
Right.
But what I'm good at, just put the ball in my hand.
Man.
Let me do what I know how to do best.
You going to the hole.
I'm going to the hole. I'm gonna clear your ass out, and I'm going to the hole. I'm not calling no plays. Why? I don't trust you with the ball in your hand at the end of the game.
He said, I got it.
I got it.
Hey, dog, but I'm gonna tell you this, man. I love that answer.
Yeah.
Because it's real, and that's what most people need to do. And I can tell you done spent time with yourself, and you know you so comfortable with who you are. It's ridiculous, Dan, and I love that, bruh. That's a great answer, great legacy. Go ahead, Reg. You can touch on that.
No, he's already left a legacy. You know, like I said, we're from a small town. I'm here now, and I'm reaping the benefits. I mean, I just put a proposal in. I got a dude that wanted to start a company with me just off my name. We did a bid for a $3.1 million job we turned in today. That's just off me and Dan, the things that we've left and the legacies that we've laid, the foundation we've laid here where we're from. And we didn't even know it because we haven't been here. But when we come here, I can't even go nowhere. And he the same way. We can't go to the grocery store. We can't go to the mall. People everywhere stop us. Hey, how you doing? I watched you. I appreciate you.
I don't care about that. What kind of company?
You said what?
What kind of company?
We did it's a minority deal, and this is in all states. And I'll let you know. All the contracts for anything to be built, universities, highways, construction, anything that has to be built, a percentage of those contracts have to go to the minority contractors. And there aren't any minority contractors in Southern Illinois except for my dad's friend who was 78 years old. And so he was like, man, I've been needing somebody like you for years to help me put this together and do this, because he's like, I have access to do it, but I can't do everything by myself. So I partnered with him a couple weeks ago. We already started the business. We also are putting our application together to be the first dispensary owner in Southern Illinois. So it's a lot.
That's what we want to hear. That's the question. That's the answer I wanted. Dan, like me, that's
so play a jump rope. Don't play no jump rope.
And another thing is, that's another thing that even though it's not in Texas legally yet, it will be soon. And we need to start shedding light on and letting people know it's only 2% minority ownership in the cannabis business. And it's an opportunity for people to have generational wealth. it's like us having the opportunity to start Jim Beam or Jack Daniels or Budweiser when it started during Prohibition. And we have the opportunities because in most of these states, they're writing the legislation to help minorities and to put us in the best position. So I'm capitalizing on that. I'm trying to start it here. Once I get started here, I'll move on to the next place, you know, spreading the knowledge, giving the wealth, doing what I can do to help. It's a community engagement part to the application. I created a program for inner city youth here where we from, Curtis, to take over the Irma Hayes Center and get computers in there and get kids bused there every day after school, get them a snack after school and then dinner every night, and let them do their homework on the computers, have Wi-Fi to where they can play games. The university have undergraduate students get credits for tutoring those kids. So we putting some good positive programs together, man, and it's off of where we from and how we were raised and the foundation that our parents put in us. And it's just trying to create that, continue it, and keep generations having opportunities, because all we need is to get, like we said, get a level playing field for our kids. They're gonna win. It's in their genetics. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to real quick go to the Washington, D.C. African American Museum this last week with my family.
That's nice too.
Most incredible thing you ever seen.
Yes.
I mean, everything from athletics to education to military to slavery.
Did you see
and
the fab in there?
How we all came from Africa to America, where we migrated to, how we migrated, how they looked at us. I mean,
did you see the fab in there? Though? Did they have a fab in the museum? Was the fab in there?
They needed.
They had Dez in there, Ray. They didn't have a fab.
Well, I'm okay with that because, you know, that's bro too. So we good with that.
Yeah, they did have Dez in there, but Jordan, Tiger, you know, Athea Gibson, Muhammad. I mean,
I'm gonna
have to tell J. Rose he ain't on his job, bro, because you know J. Rob is the PO dude. You know he get out there and pub everything.
He's supposed to have it in there though. Hey, you can be done once it's in there, Ray. Because you in there forever, and it ain't gonna ever go nowhere, man. So
that's what I want.
It was a blessing. It was a great opportunity. I'm glad I got to go see it, and I recommend that anybody that has the opportunity to go to DC to go to the African American Museum, man, you got to do it. It's an experience that there's nothing like it on earth.
You're right, man. So I want to go ahead and take this time to thank y'all, B-Mac, Mr. Do Right, Dan, Red. We at this. The locker room ain't gonna do nothing but keep getting better, as you see. And Dan, we gonna name this show The Blueprint, Dan Cross. This is The Blueprint.
Yeah.
Every episode is specially listed because they classics, like screw tapes. Y'all wouldn't understand screw tapes.
Yeah.
Down here, we got them great tapes that you ain't gonna never find nowhere else, boy, that's classic. Man. So every episode of The Locker Room is a great tape.
Before we get off of here, I'm sorry, Ray, to kill your exit. But I gotta tell the B-Mac, because you know the people want to know. Want to know.
What's that?
Yeah, myself, Ray Jackson, and Daniel Cross was all in Atlanta during Freaknik together.
Oh.
you know, only real OGs really know what we even talking about. So that just lets you know how real it is and how deep our bond goes.
Say.
Look at it.
Say. I'm a square.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that. I'm a square. I'm a square, bro. Say, man, you got any words, boy?
Hey, this is my word.
Say this.
Oh, you ready?
Yes.
When you reach one, you teach one.
Simple. So we're going to come with the Mac Facts next week?
Man, next week, I'm going to hit him right there, dog.
We body slamming again?
I want Red to even hear it. I'm going to hit him right there, man. For real.
Dan, let me see Dan's face one more time.
Dan one more good, man.
Hey, listen to him. Yeah, my face been on here the whole time. Listen to me. Yeah, that's me. That's me right there.
Yeah.
He said that's me right there.
Ray, B-Mac, y'all need to have me back on here. I apologize.
That's all right.
Technical difficulties, light difficulties. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Give me another opportunity to put so y'all can see the smile.
Yeah.
So y'all can see the smile. I don't mug mean everybody all the time.
Yeah.
But I was trying to support some of my shorties tonight, some of my kids on my travel team, and coming out of that to your show, and I didn't want to miss neither. I didn't want to miss neither one.
That's what's
up. But anytime I have a chance to support you, Ray, B-Mac, Self just said the word, and I ain't had to think twice about it. So allow me to encourage you, brothers, to continue to do what you're doing, because this time next year,
man,
I ain't gonna see that same background, and I ain't gonna see that same table.
Hey, boy,
we're gonna be sitting next to each other.
You know, whatever it is.
Boy, yeah,
exactly.
Hey, great minds think alike, bro.
Dude, exactly.
Great minds think alike.
Just a whole different platform, but just, you know, we're gonna be who we gonna be, man. That's just it.
Ray
man.
J, you ain't start out as a Fab Five.
You already know. You know what the grind is.
Man.
But that's why I like being in the trenches. I like the process, Dan.
Yeah.
I like development.
Fall in love with it.
Yes. I like growth.
So continue, man. When you do a lot of these, they can either be dry, which most of us has been in them kind of interview sessions, or it can be authentic.
Right.
And the feedback is genuine.
Yes.
And this has just been a genuine conversation.
I love you, boy.
To where the right people hear it, the right people catch on. Right. Man, listen, I mean, Jalen ain't know how to speak well when he first started. You understand what I'm saying? Like, everybody started somewhere.
Yes. And
it only take that one person to say yes. And so whoever that yes man is that could be listening or will listen, y'all got something special, man.
I love
Ray,
you, boy.
I've been following you a long time. And allow me to say this. So I talked about my foundation. Let me just throw in this little piece. So I developed a software and technology company as well. It's a life skills software and technology company. To where I've developed a life skills curriculum, financial literacy, health and wellness, career assessments, everything school has not taught our young middle school and high schoolers into an online curriculum and platform. Every kid is learning from an online curriculum. So I've developed that as an elective for middle school and high schools called Cross Academy LMS. LMS stands for Learning Management Systems. Again, crossacademylms.com.
Yes.
Man. The next time y'all invite me to the show, because I'm just assuming that y'all gonna want me back.
Yeah, that's
no doubt.
I would like to speak more about it and speak about basketball as well. So I appreciate y'all time. One love to you. May God give you blessings, continue favor to your kids, to your seeds, to your relationships, to your business.
I love you, boy. Hey, man, you ain't got to say no more. You just spoke volumes about what we already had a conversation about what real brothers do. Love and blessings. Hey, man, you coming back on, brother. The blueprint always got a blueprint, too. So you already know how that works, bro. That go without question, family. It's a done deal.
Straight facts.
So you already know, bro. I love you. Love and blessings. Thanks for taking this opportunity out of your busy schedule, bro. All your time is valuable.
Yeah, man.
And I thank you for valuing it with us.
Thank you, dude.
We love you, bro. We'll talk soon. We're going to post some information about where they can find you in the meantime.
Salute to you, man.
I love you, bro. Blessings and love, and we'll talk soon, D.
Salute, man.
Merry Christmas to you, and let me know about that recruiting service, too.
Oh, that's mandatory. Red, I love you, boy. We at it. Locker Room Special Edition. Seth Smith, Dan Cross, Worldwide Bobby Mack, Ray Jack, Mr. Do-Right, The Locker Room. We'll catch y'all next week, baby. We love y'all.
We out.
We out. Perfect, man.